Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to head out, conceptually at least, to the factory floor, maybe a hospital ward, maybe even where software gets built.
Anywhere work happens, really.
Exactly. We're exploring this really powerful idea called a Gemba Walk.
Right. Japanese origins, but widely applicable.
We've got some great material here, to sort of the practical side, how you actually do a Gemba Walk, and maybe more importantly, why it's considered such a fundamental tool.
Especially in fields like industrial engineering, lean manufacturing, definitely.
So our mission for this deep dive, let's try and pull out the core principles, the real practical takeaways of a Gemba Walk.
Yeah, so you, our listener, can really get its value, how it drives improvement, no matter what field you're actually in.
We want to get past the jargon, find the insightful bits.
Find those aha moments, not just, recite a manual.
Okay, let's start with the how. How do you actually do a Gemba Walk? Our sources lay out, it seems like a pretty structured process.
It is, yeah. It's not just a casual stroll.
And the very first thing they seem to really stress is preparation. You need a clear purpose beforehand.
Absolutely critical. What are you actually going there to see or understand? Is it a specific process that's causing trouble?
Or maybe trying to spot where waste is creeping in. Or, did that change we made last month actually help things on the ground?
Exactly. Without that defined objective, you're just looking around.
Right, no focus.
That purpose acts like your lens,
Yeah.
It guides what you pay attention to, the questions you'll end up asking. Otherwise, it's easy to get overwhelmed or distracted.
Yeah, makes sense. Like needing a destination for a road trip. Okay, so purpose first.
Yeah.
Then scheduling.
Yeah.
This isn't a one-off thing, apparently.
No, not ideally. The recommendation is usually to make it regular, maybe weekly, if possible.
Weekly. Wow. Why so often? Doesn't that get disruptive?
Well, think about it. That regular rhythm lets you build up a picture over time. You start to see patterns you'd miss in a single visit. And you can follow up on things you saw last time, see if changes stuck, if improvements are actually sustained. It makes it a continuous process, not just an event.
Got it. So it becomes part of the routine, part of managing.
Exactly. A habit of continuous learning.
All right, so you've got your purpose. It's on the schedule. Now, the main event, walk the floor. And this part sounds interesting because it's about observation, really seeing the work happen. But crucially, the sources say don't jump in and fix things immediately.
Yeah, that's a big one. Very important discipline to practice.
Why hold back? Isn't the point to improve things?
It is, but if you immediately start problem solving on the spot, you might just fix a symptom.
Yeah.
You risk missing the deeper why behind the issue.
Ah, okay. You haven't understood the root cause yet.
Precisely. This stage is purely about gathering information. See the flow, see the interactions, the little pauses, the workarounds. Just soak it in without disturbing the natural process too much.
You're collecting data with your eyes and ears.
You got it. First-hand knowledge.
Okay, so observing, not interfering, which leads nicely to the next step, engaging with employees.
Oh, this is huge. Maybe the most valuable part.
Talking to the people actually doing the work.
Yeah.
Asking open-ended questions, getting their perspective.
Yes. What are their challenges? What frustrates them? What clever little tricks have they figured out that aren't in any manual? And importantly, what ideas do they have for making things better?
So it's not an interrogation.
Absolutely not. It's about learning from them, tapping into that frontline expertise. They live the process every day.
They see things management can't, right?
Often, yes. Things that aren't visible in reports or meetings. It's about curiosity and respect, not judgment or blame. You might hear about a simple tool placement issue that causes constant delays. Something easily fixed, but never formally reported.
That's a great example, valuing that ground level intelligence. Okay, so you're watching, you're talking. Step 5 is taking notes.
Yeah.
Seems obvious, but vital.
You have to document what you see and hear. Observations, questions that arise, potential issues, ideas people shared.
Why is that so critical? Can't you just remember?
Well, maybe some things, but details fade. And these notes become your raw material for the next step. They're essential for follow-up, for tracking trends over multiple walks. It creates a record.
Okay, makes sense. A record of learning. So you've done the walk, you've got your notes. Now what? Follow-up.
Right. Back in the office or wherever, you review those notes. What did you really learn? What are the patterns? What needs further investigation?
And this is where you decide on next steps.
Exactly. Maybe you need to dig deeper into a specific problem you observed. Maybe you need to organize a Kaizen event or some kind of improvement workshop.
Or maybe implement a straightforward suggestion someone gave you during the walk.
Yes. Could be that simple sometimes. The key is that the walk leads to action. It's not just an observation tour.
It connects the seeing to the doing.
Perfect way to put it. It closes that loop.
And there's another loop to close. Feedback. Step 7, going back to the team.
Crucial. You need to share what you observed, the good things you saw too, not just problems.
Important point. Recognize good practices.
Definitely. And discuss the potential improvements you're considering based on the walk. Get their input again.
It keeps them involved, shows their input was heard and valued, builds trust, I imagine.
Absolutely. It reinforces that it's a collaborative effort, not just management checking up on them. It fuels that continuous improvement culture.
Okay, and the final step seems simple. Repeat.
Yes. Back to the scheduling point. Gemba Walks aren't a one-and-done project. They become part of the management rhythm.
And the idea is you get better at it over time.
Like any skill, the more you do it, the sharper your eyes become for spotting waste, inefficiencies, opportunities. You develop a kind of Gemba sense.
You start seeing things you didn't notice before.
Exactly. It becomes more intuitive.
Okay, that's a really clear breakdown of the how-to. Now let's shift to the why. Why is this practice considered so important?
Well, let's start with the name itself. Gemba.
Right, you mentioned it's Japanese.
It means the real place.
The real place.
Yeah, the actual location where value is created. So in manufacturing, that's obviously the shop floor.
But it could be the kitchen in a restaurant, the bedside in a hospital, the checkout counter, even the keyboard where code is written.
Precisely. Wherever the core work gets done. Understanding that name really grounds the whole concept. You have to go to the real place.
Which leads directly to the first big why. Direct observation.
It's about seeing reality for yourself firsthand, not relying on reports, spreadsheets, second-hand accounts, which might be, filtered, delayed, or just plain wrong.
And that direct view reveals things you'd otherwise miss.
Absolutely. Those subtle inefficiencies, the bottlenecks, the safety hazards, the actual flow versus the theoretical flow. Maybe you see tools are stored inconveniently, causing extra steps every single time.
Things that don't show up on a dashboard.
Exactly. You see the gap between the documented process and what people actually do to get the job done, including lever workarounds or maybe unsafe shortcuts.
And doing this regularly, this going to the real place, helps build that culture of continuous improvement we mentioned.
It's fundamental to it. You're constantly taking the pulse of the operation. You see if improvements are working, if they're sticking. You identify new issues as they emerge.
So it's not just fixing problems, it's embedding a mindset.
Yes, a mindset where everyone, management and staff, is engaged in looking for ways to do things better, safer, faster, more easily.
Yeah.
It makes improvement an ongoing activity, not a project.
Another why that came up strongly is communication and collaboration.
Huge benefit. These walks create a natural, informal setting for managers to connect with frontline employees in their environment.
Not in a sterile conference room.
Right. It breaks down barriers. You have real conversations about real work challenges. It builds trust and mutual respect when done genuinely.
And you get insights that just wouldn't surface otherwise.
Guaranteed. People might tell you things during an informal chat on the floor that they'd never bring up in a formal meeting or put in an email.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It fosters a different kind of dialogue.
A more open and honest one, hopefully.
The sources also connect Gemba Walks to a core lean principle. Go see.
Kenshi Gambutsu in Japanese. Go and see for yourself.
So it's about basing decisions on what you actually observe, on facts gathered at the source.
Exactly. Not on assumptions, not on hearsay, not on what you think is happening. You go see the reality. Gather the evidence yourself.
Which should lead to better, more informed decisions.
It stands to reason, doesn't it? Decisions grounded in observed reality are far more likely to be effective than those based on abstraction or guesswork.
Seems logical. And finally, the sources really singled out industrial engineers. Why is this practice particularly important for them?
Well, for IEs, especially those working in lean environments, the Gemba Walk is like standard operating procedure. It's a fundamental tool.
Part of their basic toolkit.
Absolutely. It's how they gather the raw observational data they need to analyze processes, map value streams, identify waste, design better workflows, and measure the impact of changes.
It connects their analytical skills directly to the physical reality of the work.
Precisely. It bridges theory and practice. It drives that continuous improvement cycle that's core to industrial engineering and lean thinking.
Okay, wow. So pulling this all together from our deep dive, a Gemba Walk isn't just a walk.
Definitely not.
It's a structured, regular practice. It's about going to the real place. The Gemba.
Observing carefully, engaging respectfully with the people doing the work.
Gathering that first-hand information, those direct insights. And this whole process is vital for spotting those hidden opportunities, the waste, the potential improvements.
And for building that culture where improvement is everyone's job, fueled by better communication and collaboration.
Making decisions based on reality, not assumptions.
Couldn't say it better. It's about truly understanding how value gets created.
Okay, so here's a final thought to leave you with. Even if your work doesn't look like a factory floor or a hospital ward, think about your Gemba. Where does the core value get created in your world?
Interesting question for everyone.
Could you apply this principle? Could you go see? What might you learn by directly observing the process or engaging more directly with the people involved right where the action happens?
What unexpected insights might that unlock for you, for your team, for your organization?
Something to think about. Until our next deep dive, keep seeking that first-hand understanding.